Right, so I let these videos fall by the wayside a little bit leading up to the competition that was on Saturday. It's now Monday. Pretty happy with how it all went, but it's not like I did any particularly hard training for it. No big taper, so we're straight back into training. So today, as I sort of mentioned I'm going to do a video on the comp and what the plan is now, but basically nothing needs to change. The training was working, I was making progress. I just need to keep ticking up my average weights, which have been like 70 kilos in the snatch. I want to push those up to 80 or 90 realistically for doubles and triples multiple days a week. And then the clean and jerk, I want to push that, maybe the average weights up towards 100. I don't need to go as crazy with those. The clean and jerk's not as important. And then I'm going to start doing a heavy session every 2 weeks. That said, today's session, I'm going to do no foot snatch triples. Aim is to get 8 sets-ish between 60 and 80% triples. And then I'm going to do power clean and jerk. So that'll be 1 power clean, 2 to 3 jerks. I'm aiming for about 6 sets above 70% for those. So let's do this. Alright then, so we are off here warming up with some muscle snatch complex. Picked this up from Gabriel Crane, a lot of what the Romanians did. So you do sort of 3 to 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps of each movement, and that is a muscle snatch, behind the neck push press, and overhead squat. I used to do them a lot, and I found it really good for strengthening my turnover and my overhead position, as well as just generally getting very nice and warm for snatches. So if you've seen some of the other videos, I do still do some tall muscle snatches to work on some specific sort of rehab for my shoulder, but I've now added in as well that muscle snatch complex. So very nice and warm, trying to work on strengthening the turnover. And you can see the turnover is pretty snappy and solid in this session as a whole. So I'd mentioned in the introduction that the plan in this session was to work up to about 8 sets of 3 between 60 and 80%, which happens to be 60 to 80 kilos. I think I ended up doing 10 sets, and that's just because things were actually feeling pretty good. So I'm doing no foots here, and they were moving pretty well until 70. So you see I kind of shit the bed a bit there on that one, but just sort of recomposed myself, collected myself, and then the second 2 reps were good. And the reason I ended up doing more work is because whereas typically I might only do 2 sets per weight, so I might have done 2 sets at 60, 2 at 65, 2 at 70, 2 at 75, that sort of thing, I did 3 sets at 70 basically until I got it perfect, and I would have done 4 or 5 sets if it had have needed. And then this is the 3rd set here, which you can see is a lot more solid. But I was still struggling a little bit with feeling like a good connection to the bar. Like I was making good reps, but I felt like I was kind of being a bit loose in the turnover, especially in the later reps. And you'll see that sort of pop up here at this 75, is rep 1 and 2 are really nice, solid, connected. And then on this 3rd one, it's a bit more of a smash and dive, and it means I kind of chase it forward ever so slightly. So the same story here, I did 3 sets at 75 until I got it perfect. And that last set of 75 is the best set of the day, and I suppose that's sort of an argument for volume, is you just feel so good after doing a lot. And so I actually decided to do 80 just for a double. And, you know, there we go. I was talking in the start of the video about trying to move up my average top weights to 80 or 90 kilos, and then I hit 80 kilos in the first session. So I was very happy with that. Then I moved on to power clean and split jerks. I did 3 sets of 1 plus 3 at 70, 3 sets of 1 plus 2 at 80, and then 2 sets of 1 plus 2 at 90. So I am very happy with how the jerk's coming along at the lighter weights, but you could see in that earlier set I was sort of splitting and then dropping my back knee. So I would end up in a good position, but I wouldn't split straight into it. You see it there, the back knee sort of punches out relatively straight and then drops down later. So it's not horrific, it's definitely progress, but by the time I got to the 80s, I think this was probably my 5th working set, I was doing a much better job at punching into that position. Well, I tell a lie because that one wasn't great. Yeah, again, not amazing. They are progress because before I would just punch out with a straight leg. And then the 90s, I was very happy with normally one of the jerks. So that one wasn't amazing. But I think the second jerk on this set was much better in terms of position. Let's have a look. Boop. Yeah, slightly better. And then I know for the final set I did, the first one was very good. It was probably my best one of the day. Again, after you've done that much volume, it's suddenly moving well. I was happy with that. And then the second one was really nice, but I just kind of jumped to the right a bit and fucked it up. But there we go. So it looks great until I have to recover and I'm like wandering over to the side. But yeah, all in all, a good session. Happy with the way the weights are moving up. And yeah, that's all I got to say.